Shirly PINTO from Israel. Shirley is the first deaf member of the Knesset in Israel, and this is why it's so important for us to have leadership and role modeling. Now, in the future, we want to see lived experience of disability in leadership positions all over the world, but I really am delighted that Shirley is with us today. Thank you, Shirley.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shirly PINTO, and I am a tall woman, a deaf woman with black hair, wearing a white jacket and speaking sign language. Until the last November, I was a member in the Israeli parliament, in the Knesset. I was the first member in the Knesset that she is deaf in the state of Israel. You must be wondering to yourself how it's to be deaf can get to the most important job in the state of Israel. As someone who have a regular job with the Prime Minister, the President of Israel, Minister, and member in the Knesset. How it will we work with all the difficulties? So many times people ask me those questions and also ask me if I know how to read, if I know how to write, if I have a doggy dog. And I heard all this stigma in entire life. Even when I was a member in the Knesset, this stigma will continue. Today, on this stage, I'm not coming to tell you about my personal life. I'm coming to tell you about a spot, about some situation in my life. Sorry that I'm stopped here because they do a video on me and I wanted to see you, not on the interpreter. Thank you, sorry. She's speaking, not me. Thank you. Today, on this stage, I'm coming... Thank you. So today, in this stage, I'm not coming to tell you about my personal life. I'm coming to do a spotlight about some situation in my life that can explain the narrative that people with disability have in entire life in Israel and around the world. This is a struggle that we have and must to continue until we succeed. I am a daughter to two deaf people. My father is deaf, my mother, she's deaf and blind. Both of them give up about their dreaming because the society does not accept them. My father was learned theater in the Gallaudet University. It's a university for deaf people in USA. When he came back to Israel and trying to find a job in the field, all the time he told him that she's deaf. We cannot accept you because you're deaf. My mother was super talented. She learned a graphic design, a fashion design. She was a great artist, but she didn't succeed to go far just because the society does not accept them. It is not was because she's not talented enough or not good enough. It was because she was deaf. Both of them found herself in the job that they never wanted. My father was working in the supermarket, and my mother was a housekeeper. I grew up in this shadow of difficult, and because this shadow, I look about the road spectacularly, and I didn't see good. I didn't believe that the road can be accessible and forgiveness. In my entire life, I have a lot of questions about that. My first meeting with the Heart Society was when I was 12 years old. I got a flyer in school about a circle, a veterinary circle. And who is know me personally, know how much I love animals. So I ran back home all excited, and I showed my father the flyer, and he told me, "Shirley, you know what is a veterinary circle? How you will understand? Everybody there is hearing. How you be inclusion?" it was very tough situation for me in front of my dad, because I have this dilemma. One side, I know the difficulty that my parents been through to include in the Israeli society. I saw them face and fade in. And if it's happened to them, it will happen to me. But the other side, maybe there is a hope, a little bit change. So I asked my father to help me to fill out the form, and he so much not believe at me, so I found myself doing by my own and setting my parents. I came back to the first lesson, my legs were shaking, all the students would look at me weird. I found a place to sit in the end of the room, and the teacher started talking. And actually, I didn't understand nothing at all. I told to myself, I will take another lesson, I will take another opportunity, maybe I will understand, but I didn't. In a 3 times, I already came to the teacher and tell him that I'm giving up. He not insist that I will stay in the class, because he understands that the situation is lost, that there is no access or interpreter that helped me. It proved me that all my father told me about life is a simple truth. The society actually does not open for disability people to succeed. The high school were very significant time for me, because in this time I have 2 difficult situations in my personal and family life. When I was 17 years old, I remember my mother one day wake me up early and scream, "Shirley, I cannot see anything, cannot see nothing." I was terrified, and she said, I see a little bit light, but I cannot see. I didn't know how to help her. I was lost. I'm a little girl, 17 years old. How I am supposed to help to my mother that losing the available to see completely? So I wash my face, restart myself, and the first step, I tried to calm her down. She sit on my bed and does not stop crying. I started to looking for a place that can fit to people that they are deaf and blind, place that can help my mother. At the same time, it was another blow shock for me that my parents is getting divorced. This divorce was very affected me, because instead to be a child that getting love and support from her parents, I become the child that take care of my parents. I feel like in the lonely island. My mother getting blind, my father left home, and I was lost. A couple weeks later, I remember that I stopped feel emotion. I moved to automatically work. Imagine the house, imagine the bank account. All the bank accounts I was responsible of. There is a saying that what doesn't kill you, make you stronger. And this difficult situation make me much more stronger. One point of light, a little light that barely can see, was my grandma and my grandfather, the parents of my mother. My grandma passed away, and my grandfather, Zion, that I wish him whole health. From young age, they was the safe place for me. They knew that my mother doing with the ashram symptoms, so they was there for me and take care of me. My father was working all the time because he has must to give money home. Both of them was the safe place for me, and every time was difficult situation at home, they teach me about the world. They teach me poetry, history, everything, and they was believe that I can do everything. Look, it's a little bit funny that they was hearing, because think about it. If I didn't have them, so I was growing up in a deaf world, and the first time that I will meet hearing people was very difficult for me. They actually solved my landing to the hearing world, and they teach me what the difficult that I will be meet. One day, came to my high school a military officer in the Israel Army and explained about the option that you can do in a service in the Army. And it was like first love for me. I was so excited. I ran back home and looking for how disability people can volunteer in the Israeli Army. After 1.5 years that I worked so hardly to come in, I get the one order and I succeed. So the first time that I wear a uniform for my wonderful country that I so love, it feels like I'm inclusion. I am taking part in the Israeli narrative, and this day I will never forget. During my military service, I received a medallion for excellence from the Prime Minister for Israel, President of Israel, and the commander of the Air Force in Israel. I'm not telling you that because I want you to put me on the back or applaud me. I'm telling you that because these two excellence show me that I can do everything, and it's make me to do a switch in my head, that the little girl, the deaf, from the north in Israel, that I couldn't give up, can do everything. She came to the President of Israel, shaking his hand. It was amazing for me. And from this day, I realized that I can do everything. There is two tools that I hold in hardly. One is a belief, and the second one was persistence. And these two tools, I never let it go. Of course, that you need also to meet the right person and the right place. In the Army, I work with people that can see the potential that inside me. They see actually, Shirley, who I really am. I did 4 years in the Army until I decided that I need to move on. I want to see the big world. I want to learn the new stuff. I went to learn a law degree in purpose to be a lawyer that fight about disability people rights. During the degree, I found myself, instead to focus in my legal master, I focused in the social association to correcting injustice. I started an association, I made in campaigns and projects. Inside me, I ask myself, what is the difference between what I do and what I learn? So I realized that I need to act and bring a change film that's so burning and not hearing in Israel. In July 2019, I get an offer to enjoy the local election in the city that I was lived. The local election, I became the national election to the Israeli parliament. The Israeli polity got to 4 inclusive elections. During the election, I heard some people down me and laughing and tell Shirley, she cannot be elected. She's not in a religious place. She is deaf. How she will be succeed with all the difficult? But I believed, and I hold in the purpose. I'm moving about with my heart. I wake up every morning and go to sleep every night, and every day I love what I do to correct the injustice in the Israeli society. What is encouraged me, it's what I've been through, and I don't want my children and future children of disability people will have this difficult too. In June 2020, 21, I survived realized to the Knesset in Israel and become a member in the Knesset. In this moment, I felt that with me, standing all the people with disability and the family in Israel, I'm not alone. I get a lot of love from everyone in Israel and around the world. They call me, text, so excited. I remember my husband telling me in a video, "You are a member in the Israeli parliament, I cannot believe it. You're the first one, he's deaf." State of Israel made a history. We opened the news, everybody talk about it. And even me, until today, cannot explain the excited that it was. And I will share with you that until today, I'm not believe that I was a member in the Israeli parliament. Me, the little Shirley from the north, that just want to make a change. When I was a member in the Knesset, I budget 100 exclusive buses between cities for disability people that use in a wheelchair. In the coronavirus, I spoke with the Minister of Health and tell him that we should bring to the hospital a transfer mask for deaf and half-hearing people. And actually, it's happened so quickly because we doesn't use a regulation. We just use to mask the hospital to do it. And sometimes we doesn't need a regulation or a law. Sometimes awareness, a goodwill, and changing a policy, this is a good solution and more quicker. I encourage a translation hour for disability for deaf and half-hearing people from 35 hours for a year to 70 hours for a year. I budget more money for culture and sport in a public place for disability people. I improve regulation to access service in the system of health and improve to get into the hospital a service dog. And the most important, I was been there every time there is a place that not disability people represent. This was a correct dismal policy of years. Every forum, every time that I see the subject can be a little bit touched in the life of disability people, I will be there. In the way, my work in the Knesset does stop, but for now. But my job to improve people with disability life never ends. I live, as long as I live, this is my work life. Today, I'm a mother to 2 deaf children. They all my love, and I'm married to a husband that he's deaf, and so support. Without him, it's never happened. I can see my children growing up, and I know that the difficulty that I had, they will have too. That's why what I'm doing today is to correct the society in Israel, how much I can do, because I want their future and disability people, the future will be better from what I have. Nobody prepared me, nobody was with me, nobody explained me or told me, Shirley, you need to believe yourself. This simple sentence I never heard, and I doing everything to show them it's possible. Also you, if you are a person with disability or without, all of us have difficult and challenges in life. In this stage, I want to say to a little Shirley, 12 years old, that not believe enough, don't give up about your dreamers. Thank you for everyone that believed in me. Believe yourself, believe the people around you. I believe in you. It's possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shirley.
And I want to say thank you to Zero Project, to Ruben and everyone, and Liat, my interpreter, that worked so hard to translate into English. Thank you.
Thank you both. Okay, I mean, what a gorgeous, beautiful start to the day. Thank you so much, Shirley. Thank you.